Hello everyone and welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine, especially with all what's going on, with all what's happening that is threatening the world nowadays. With this pandemic, we're trying to alleviate the suffering of this pandemic by telling stories. My name is Abderrahim. I'm a storyteller in Cafe Clock in Morocco, and more precisely in Marrakesh. And today I'm going to tell you a story. This story is called The Wise Man and His Three Sons. Hope you enjoy the story. Now let's go to it. So, once upon a time, there was a generous, righteous, scholar man. This man was loved and admired by everyone in his city. People used to love him a lot. This man was so wealthy. He had a lot of money and he was blessed with three children. He loved them all, he educated them, he raised them. Things so good so far. Time passed and the man started thinking about his money. That is to say, how his sons are going to spend them. Are they going to spend them in a good way or in a bad way? He started thinking about this specific matter for days and nights. Till one day the man was just sitting on his chair, on his spot, doing nothing, chilling and thinking about that specific matter. He called his son, the three of them, they all came. One of them was just like his father, a man of knowledge. He had truthfully followed the hardship of his father in knowledge. The second one was a merchant. He used to sell and buy gold, silk, jewelries, and all other precious stones. He used to export and import them in large quantities. For the third one, well, the third one was totally the opposites of his brothers. He was a drug dealer, an alcoholic. He was the bad guy, and no one ever loved him or liked him. Here their father spoke. You know, my sons, and you all know about my sickness. I don't have much time to live. Do whatever you like with my money after I die. It's yours. I don't care. But promise me one thing. Do not go inside this room. Do you understand? They said. Okay, father, we'll never go inside that room. No, I truly mean it. Don't go inside the room. Okay, father, we will never go inside the room. We promise you that. You can leave now. And they left. Each one of them took his own personal way. After some couples of months, the man indeed passed away, and after the funeral and the burial, things got back to normal. And here the brothers are gathered so that they can split the money between them. They did so. Now let's go for the bad guy. He was a heavy gambler. He used to gamble here and to gamble over there. He used to buy anything and everything he wanted to, till he became broke, with no money, no penny in his pockets. And he started thinking about way to gain some money from. And here he remembered the room in which their father used to prevent them from internet. He said to himself, what about the room? I mean, something special, something really so special must be inside the room. I must go and check. And he was running to his brothers, trying to convince them into going inside the room, but they refused. They said that's impossible for them, that they have never disobeyed their father when he was alive, let alone now when he died, so it was impossible. But the man was so determined though. So he was running to the room, trying to break in. On the other hand, his brothers were watching him from distance, because they felt so curious. I mean, what's so special about the room? As the man was trying to break in, he broke in and he went inside the room. He was trying to look for some gold, for some diamonds, for anything precious, under tables here and there, but the room was empty. Nothing special was inside that room. As he was checking here and there, he came across a very huge box. He opened that box and he found three different things that have nothing in common: a tobacco pipe and a small rag and a penny hat. The three brothers were so confused, and they were like so fixed on that tobacco pipe. How come our father used to be a man of knowledge, a scholar, a righteous man, and this is a tobacco pipe? This is so weird. So after all, that was our father's little secret. That's why he didn't want us to go inside the room. So here the three brothers decided that each one of them should take something as a kind of souvenir. The first one took the rag. He said to them, "I'm going to take this small rag. I will sit on it as my father used to do." The second one took the hat. He said, "I'm going just to put this hat on my shop, just to as a kind of souvenir." For the third one, the bad guy just picked the pipe from the ground and he said to them all, "Well, this really suits me," and they left. Now let's go for the bad guy again. He was going on the street thinking of money and nothing but money. As he was thinking here and there, he came across the palace, and the palace was so huge and so high up, and in front of that palace so many guards and a huge gardens, and some benches for people that used to pass by just to sit on them and to look at the beautiful view of that palace. Our man, the bad guy, he kept like going there and he sat on a bench. He took, or yeah, he took that pipe from his pocket and he started smoking it. Till now, he didn't know that he has everything. He has the treasure, but he wasn't into that moment. As he was smoking it, like the first inhale and exhale, some gold will fall down from it. Because after all, that pipe wasn't normal, was so magical, so miraculous. But the man didn't pay attention to it. So he looked down on the ground and he saw something was shining and glittering so brightly. It was gold. At first he thought maybe just like some ashes that fall down from the pipe. He kept like watching it and waiting just to fade away, but it didn't. So he picked it from the ground. He was examining that golden piece. "Well, this is gold. This is purely gold." And he starts screaming and jumping from happiness. He took it directly to the gold dealer. He was examining it as well, and then he sold it to him in a high price. The man was so happy. He thought that maybe someone like left it there, or maybe just like fell from somebody's pocket. He wasn't sure. But the most important thing is that he has the money. And then again, the same thing, started gambling and buying everything he wanted to, till for the second time he was broke. And again, the same thing. It was like thinking of a way to earn some money from. As he was going here and there, the same place, the same seat. He sat there and he grabbed the pipe and he started smoking. And again, the same thing. The golden piece fell down from the pipe. And that time, he paid attention to it. And just happened that the princess, because the princess' room was so high up, and she sometimes would open her window and look at the beautiful view of people passing by and the city and everything. And she saw that man sitting on that seat smoking pipe, but she felt so curious. She didn't know what was that thing falling down from the pipe. So she sent her men for the man. They went direct to the man's house. They knocked on the door. He said like, "Who's knocking?" They didn't answer, so he just like opened the door and was shocked. "Are those guards? But I've done nothing bad." "What's wrong?" One of them said to him. "Come with us." He said, "What for? I've done nothing bad." "Well, no, just come with us. The princess is wanting to see you." And he grabbed him from his shoulder and he took him direct to the palace, to the princess' room. He entered. "Sit," the princess said, and he sat. "I've seen you the other day smoking pipe, and I've seen something was like falling down from the pipe. Something was shining so brightly. What was that thing?" And here the man with all confidence said, He grabbed the pipe from his pocket and he said to her, "Well, my princess, this pipe belonged to my father, and my father used to be a scholar, a man of knowledge. See, whenever you smoke it, some gold will fall down from it." At that very moment, the princess was like listening to the man very attentively. With the wide eyes, she was so excited. "Could you please show me how does it work?" she said to the man. "Of course, my princess." And he started smoking and she saw that little piece or golden piece falling down from the pipe. She was so happy. And he just picked it from the ground and gave it to the princess. She started examining it and scanning it. "Well, this is so pure. Can I have a look at the pipe?" "Of course you can, my princess." And he gave it to her. She started examining the pipe. "Well, this pipe is so normal though. You know what? I'm gonna give you some money for this pipe. And you will never come back to me. Do you understand?" The man was, "I beg your pardon, my princess?" "I said I'm going to take this pipe from you and I'm going to give you some money for it. Now you leave." You start thinking, if I say no, she will have me killed. She's the king's daughter. And if I just accept and left, I'll lose everything. He started thinking of a way out, but in vain. Nothing came to his mind, so he just left. He started crying and weeping like a small baby, jumping, like cursing her, blaming her for being so evil. And as he was at that situation, he remembered the two other things. He said to himself, "The box contained three things: the pipe, the hat, and the rag. They must be magical too." And he was running to his brother, the one with the rag, begging him, crying in front of him for that rag. At the end, he accepted and I gave it to him. The man took the rag and he left. He was going in the street. He put the rag on the ground and he sat on it, trying to figure out how does it work, till he noticed that the rag was embroidered with some small patterns on the sides of it. And here the man kept using all those magical phrases and sentences, but nothing happened. Just all that was in vain. As he was discovering how does it work, he just like so randomly said, "Move!" And here the rug started doing its own magic. It started hovering over the ground, hovering higher and even more higher, and flying all over the city. And his first destination was the king or the princess' palace. He went there and from her window he said to her, "Peace be upon you." The princess looked and she saw the man flying. "What? Can you fly now?" "Of course I can, my princess." "You know what? I'm really so sorry for what I did to you last time. I was all about to give you back your magical pipe. Come, so we can talk." And here the man entered her room. Tell me what's so special about the rag." He said, "Well, my princess, as you can see, the rag belonged to my father. It's so magical. See, my father used to take this rag wherever he wanted to go. He used to travel across the world just to do his own business. Can I try it?" "Of course you can, my princess." She sat on that rug and she said, "Move." The rug started hovering over the ground and flying all over the corners of that room, of that royal room. It was so huge, and then she said, "Stop." And it stopped. She started rolling and rolling the rug and she said to the man, "Who am I to you?" He said, "Well, you're the princess. You're the king's daughter. Everyone knows you. Everyone respects you and admires you. Plus, you're very known or famous about your beauty." "Hmm, fair enough. You know what? I'm going to give you again some money for this rag. But this time, if you come back to me, I will have you killed. I will cut off your head. Do you understand?" He said, "Again? Yes, again. Now you leave." And she started shouting at the man. He left. Again he was crying and weeping. At first he was blaming her for being so evil. Now, the second time he was blaming himself for being so stupid. As he was again trying to discover something, He remembered his last chance, his last hope, which is the hat. So he was running to his brother with the hat, begging him, crying, doing every possible way. At the end, his brother accepted and he gave it to him. So he took it and left. He was going on the street, he just like put it on his head, discovering how does it work. Using all those words, all those phrases, nothing. Discovering himself, his arms, his legs, nothing happened. It was so normal. Nothing special about the hat. He was going, crying, feeling so disappointed, cursing everyone, till he came across the souk, which is the local market. And in there was a traditional restaurant. He said to the man, "Peace be upon you." The man said, "Who's talking? Who's talking? Show me yourself. Who's talking? Who's talking? I'm talking to you. Can't you see me? Who's talking? Who's..." Ah, that's it. So this hat is so magical. It's even more magical than the two other things, than the pipe and the rag. It makes me invisible. Nobody can see me whereas I can see everyone. That's super cool. I can do whatever I wanted to. And he started cutting some piece of bread from that restaurant, and the man is seeing the bread is being cut by itself and being eaten by itself. So he started screaming and shouting, "There are some ghosts in my shop. There are some ghosts in my shop. I have some ghosts." People in the zoo thought that the man was crazy. So here the man start doing whatever he wanted in that souk, like eating some food here and having some or dressing some clothes over there, and he went directly to the palace. He was going from the main gate, and that gate was like standing two soldiers. They stood still, very still. They don't even blink an eye. So he passed on the sides of them without like being stopped because it was invisible, discovering the palace room by room to the kitchen. He started eating all those delicious food, and here he headed directly to the uh, room of the princess. He entered, she didn't pay attention, and he said to her, "Peace be upon you." She turned, "Who's talking? Who's talking? Who's talking? Why? Are you a genie? Who's talking? I'm talking to you. Can't you remember me? Who are you? Show yourself to me. I'm the bad guy. I'm the guy that you took away like the pipe and the rag from. And I've came here just to warn you. Show me yourself. Why can't I see you? You can't see me, and you won't. I'm just like came to warn you. It's either you give me back my things, or I will make this city so trouble." "You think? You things? Do you mean the pipe and the rug?" "Yes, exactly." "No, you will never have them back. Do whatever you like to do, as you wish." And here the man start like going, sneaking on behind of one soldier, those who stood still on or besides the main gate, and he slapped him from the back. The soldier turned and he saw nobody except his friend. "Are you slapping me?" "Beg your pardon?" "You did just slap me." "No, I didn't." And he slapped him again. "Why are you slapping me?" "Because you did it first." And he slapped him. So here they start slapping one another without knowing who started it first. Again, the man went directly to the souk, started doing the same exact thing to everyone. He started slapping this man, and the man will turn and slap the other one, and the other one will turn. And here, like he made that souk so troubled. People start complaining and shouting and screaming. Here they went directly to the palace, to the royal court, to the king himself. He started they started complaining to the king himself, and here the king sent all his guards to surround the city and to look for the suspicious guy, but in vain. He was so invisible. How come? Again, the second time, the king sent a messenger just to announce to people that nothing bad will happen to the man if he stopped doing what he's doing. The man did so, and at that very moment, the princess, like she entered the royal court, which is composed of the king himself and the ministers. She said to the king, "Father, can I talk to you?" He said to her, "No, not the time." "No, father, so important, so urgent. I know the man, I know the responsible." "What did you say?" "I said I know the man. He came to me first with a pipe, and I took it away from him. And the second time with a small rag, I also took it away from him. And now I don't know what kind of magic that he has. So it's you after all. 'Cause if you didn't steal his things, his magical things, he wouldn't do what he's doing right now." At that moment, the man, hearing the messenger like announcing that to people, and now that he nobody can stop him, they decided to meet the king in person, which he did. He was going to the palace without being stopped to the royal court, and they said, "Peace be upon you all." And all the ministers were like, "Who's talking? Who's talking? Show yourself to me, who's talking?" And here the king said, "Is that you?" He said, "Yes, your majesty. Show yourself to me." And he revealed himself. "My daughter said everything to me. She explained everything to me. And don't worry, because I will give you back your things. If, and only if, you promise me that you will stop doing what you're doing right now." Okay, your grace, I will stop it right now. Do you have a wish? I mean, something you wish for? Uh, your honor, if you're saying so, well, I would like to marry your daughter if it's possible. What? You would like to marry my daughter just like that? Well, this is not something up to me. If she accepts you, then you're the most welcome. He called for her for his daughter. She came. He said to her that the man is proposing for her, and that she started thinking. She said that she's going to accept under the condition that she would have all his magical stuff. Once the man heard her saying that, and holding the hat on his hands, he said to her, "Do you mean that you want the pipe and the rug on this hat?" She said, "Yes." Uh, that's hard. Okay, you know what? I'm going to give you the pipe, I'm going to give you the rug, but you will never have this hat. Take it or leave it. She started thinking, and at the end she accepted. They were so happy. The king was so happy, and he started throwing parties all over the palace and all over the city. They lived in peace. They lived in tranquility and prosperity. They lived happily ever after. And thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
Hello there, beautiful people. Hope that you're doing great. My name is Mohammed Kushem. I'm a storyteller from Cafe Clock Marrakesh. Before I start, I wish that you're doing great. I wish that you are safe and sound and you're just chilling at home. And here I come with a story from the Moroccan culture. So, let's start. Once upon a time, ladies and gentlemen, there lived this man. This man lived in Marrakesh. His name is Ahmed. Ahmed here had a simple job. He would go to the woods, cut off the wood, and come back. He's a lumberjack. And we call him in Moroccan Batal. Now, Batal would go to the woods and he would do his job. But once he comes back, he stops by the souks to buy his needs, food, drinks, clothes, anything that he needs to use in his daily life. But before going back home, he buys bread from the best baker in town. And her name is Selwa. Her nickname, though, is Jarada. Jarada means frog. And you might wonder, why did she accept the nickname of frog? Well, she accepted it because she didn't mind that people were trying to bring her down. Because she didn't let what other people do bring her down. She had her own sense of positivity. She had a great personality. And that's something we aspire to have, all of us, specifically in times like these. Now, he would go buy bread and have a conversation with her. But with time, he realized something, that he fell in love with her. And that's a thing that is scientifically proven, that men fall in love with women any crack of a finger. So the thing that he did that is different from nowadays is, he went to her shop. As soon as he realized the feeling, he went to her shop and he said, "Selwa, will you marry me?" Not like what we do right now. Not like what we do right now is you realize the feeling, you have to go try to talk to her on Instagram, or I don't know. You have to do a lot of things and waste a lot of time, but he did it straight to the goal. So the thing is, when he proposed, she said yes, but she didn't say yes in vain. Now, women are the smartest creatures on earth. Let me tell you that. Now, we're going to be talking about women within my story a little bit. The first thing about women that we need is the ability to analyze. Now, the time she spent with him, talking to him, she was analyzing how he behaves, how he carries himself, how he talks, how he thinks, how he reacts with people, with anything, with his surroundings. And then she knew that he really stands up for the status of a man, because man is a status, not only a word. In order to be a man, you have to be reliable, you have to be responsible, you have to be funny, you have to be a lot of things. So she said yes. And then they carried on with their marriage ceremony. Now, after they got married, things got back to normal. Ahmed being a lumberjack and Silwa being a baker. Now, one day, Silwa, she was sitting in her chair, like she was sitting in her spot, like I'm doing right now. And then she had her bread in front of her, selling, sharing positivity and everything. And then she spotted this convoy coming from far. Now, that convoy was the royal convoy. And I'll explain something to you. Ruling families back then, the rich families back then, specifically the ones that rules the city and that rules the country, they used to do these random checkups on the city to see if everything is okay, if everything is good, to give gifts and stuff. And that day, the princess was on top of that convoy. Okay. Now, she was sitting in the convoy. The princess was giving gifts. She loved going out and seeing her people and helping them, and just doing good and spreading positivity and everything. And the princess was the role model of Selwa. So when Selwa saw the princess on the convoy, oh my God, she was like sat on her chair, kept watching the princess. And then, in the process, the princess was so into her moment, but her necklace fell off. That necklace was a gift from her father that he got from his grandmother. So basically that necklace is so precious, far from the materialistic value of it. It had an emotional value. And that's something, that value is, you can't replace it with anything. You just can't. Because that thing may be a bottle of water. If your father gave you a bottle of water, and then your father passed away, may he rest in peace, or I don't know, it would be having this value into it. Because it will bring back memories. It will bring back feelings. It will bring back so many things that we cannot replace nowadays with money or with precious things, materialistic ones. So she lost her necklace. And then, the only person who saw what happened was Silwa, because the princess didn't feel the necklace falling off. And in that 2 seconds that the necklace took to fall from the neck of the princess onto the ground, she had a plan. Yep, which brings us to another thing. Another quality about women, fast reflex. Women can come up with the fastest plans any crack of a finger. Now, the plan that she had was to go take the necklace, take it all the way back to her husband, and then she would tell him how to do, because if he goes to the palace with the royal necklace, he would be immediately considered as a thief. Unfortunately, her plan didn't come to life, because as soon as the convoy passed, the royal cattle passed. Bunch of sheep and cows on their shortcut way back to the palace. And this cow ate the necklace and the grass and moved along the way. Now, Selwa was observing the whole scene. Another quality about women. Sense of observation. In the hardest situation in life, they can remain calm to gather up data to find solutions for problems. So, this one is for the couples. Specifically the married people. I'm gonna give you a rule. A happy wife is a happy life. That's an intergalactic law. Now let's go back to our story. She gathered up her stuff and went back home. And then she found her husband sitting in his chair chilling because he just came back from a hard, long day of work, like he was very tired. Now here, she wanted to talk to him, but she couldn't. She went to him, all gracious and smooth, so that she won't disrupt his peace. She said, "My love, my king, can I talk to you for a second?" Then his heart skipped a beat after hearing his wife. His heart skipped a beat after hearing his wife. "Yes, my love, what do you want? What is it that you want?" She made him stand up. Now, here's the thing. And cue the most favorite words that women like to say. Pay attention and do exactly as I say. Is that right? And then he said, yes. She said, "I need you to pretend that you're an astrologist." What? Whoa. What? Said, "Well, no, I don't know nothing about astrology." I said, pay attention and do exactly as I say. But I said, pay attention and do exactly as I say. Never make your wife repeat herself more than 2 times. A happy wife is a happy life. Okay. Now he said, okay. Now you're going to pretend that you're an astrologist. I'm going to teach you, coach you what to do, how to talk, how to walk and everything. And I'm going to give you the details, everything that you need after you come back. So he was prepared. He was looking like an astrologist with a jalaba like this one, a turban on his head, a cane and a bag. He went to the palace. Now when he went to the palace, he met His Majesty the King. His Majesty the King was a bit suspicious because he never told that his daughter lost her necklace. So here, he said, "Your Highness, I'm an astrologist and I know that you lost. And I know that your daughter lost her necklace. And I'm here to retrieve that necklace." The king played along. And as he was doing what he was doing, he stopped and he said, "Everybody stop. Now, I need your shepherd to bring all of the sheep and the cows and all of your cattle in this royal court." "What?" he said. "What am I going to do with a bunch of sheep and cows in my court?" And then Ahmed decided to take a little bit of revenge on the king, and he said, "Your Highness, pay attention and do exactly as I say." So he accepted. Until Ahmed saw the specific cow, they brought the cow. And then he took his knife, and then he extracted the necklace. The king was super surprised. He immediately ordered his guards to clean up that cow and distribute it on the people that can't find anything to eat. Out of his happiness, because he found the necklace that he got from his grandmother and gave it to his daughter, he decided to give gifts to all of the people of the city. And he called for the princess. She was super happy. She retrieved her necklace and went back to her room. Now, we have Ahmed. He must be rewarded because he retrieved the necklace of his daughter, of the daughter of the king. Okay. Now the king spoke to Ahmed and he said, "You know what? I trust you. My gut feeling tells me to trust you. And I'm going to give you 10,000 golden coins and then some fancy clothes made out of silk. Do you have a wife?" Ahmed said, "Yes." "Give him some fancy clothes for his wife as well. And then go. This is my token of gratitude." Now, up to this point, we have, in our daily lives, we have envious people. And the envious person in this story is the Prime Minister. Because as soon as Bartal went out, the Prime Minister approached His Majesty the King and said, "What are you doing? 10,000 golden coins for a con artist? This is just a propaganda, Your Majesty. And I can prove you wrong. But I have a condition." Now, this conniving little Prime Minister, he had a plan. And then he said, "Your Highness, I know how to bring him down. Just let me do my job." The king said, "What is your condition? Because nothing happens for a reason with you. What is your condition?" The Prime Minister said, "If I succeed, you're going to give me the hand of your daughter for marriage." "Aha. You're seeking my throne. Okay, but if you don't succeed, you are going to be exiled, you and your family." The Prime Minister accepted. And then the Prime Minister said, you know what? I'm going to tell you my plan right now and tell me how it goes. And then the Prime Minister said, Your Highness, we're going to call Batal. But before we're going to call him, tomorrow, I'm going to take 3 pots. 3 pots. I'm going to take those 3 pots. I'm going to fill the first one with butter, the second one with honey, and the third one with tar. And those 3 pots, we're going to hide them under the ground in the royal garden. Now we're going to call him. We're going to invite him for brunch, have fun a little bit. And then you're going to tell him, let's go for a walk. And you're going to ask him to guess what is under the ground as soon as we reach the spot. So they did. The next morning, they called for Ahmed. Now, before going out, his wife told him. His wife kind of felt something. She had this gut feeling in her. His wife told him, I'm just feeling like I want to tell you a quote. And remember it, please. The first one is butter. The second one is honey. And the third one is tar. Now, this quote works whenever we get into trouble. Whenever we face trouble, the first one is on our side. Luck is on our side. The first problem went so smooth like butter. And then the second problem went so sweet like honey. But the third one is tar, pitch black. Oh my God. This is a quote that we have in our culture. Now, let's go back. He went on his mission with the royal guards to attend the brunch of His Majesty the King. He was super surprised. He thought that they mistaken the house. Oh my God. Now he entered, he had brunch with His Majesty, he chilled, he listened to some music, and all of that was a cover-up so that he won't suspect anything. Okay. Now, everything finished, they listened to music and all that, and they went for a walk in the garden. At that time, to make it even more not suspicious, the king was joking around with him and all that. And they reached the spot. The king grabbed him by the shoulder and told him, I need you to amuse us with your great set of skills in astrology and fortune-telling. How about you would guess what is under the ground? Bartal couldn't believe it. The only thing he thought about is the quote that his wife told him before he gets out. Because he was facing a problem. And then he said, Your Highness, now here's the thing. And from in the inside, he thought that, oh my God, this is my last. Now here's the thing, Your Highness. The first one went so smooth like butter. The second one is so sweet like honey, but the third one is tar, pitch black. Now, this quote, he used it because he was in trouble the first time. I mean, risking his life going to the palace of His Majesty the King, pretending that he's an astrologist. But it went so smooth like butter. The second one was so sweet like honey that nobody came looking for him. But the third one is tar, pitch black, is the problem he was facing at that moment. The problem he was at that moment. The king couldn't believe it. Oh my God. The prime minister couldn't believe it. Oh my God. He just mentioned the components of what is under the ground. The king jumped at him and hugged him, and then he said, Guards, take this prime minister away. Guards, take this prime minister away. Now, you sound like a solidified astrologist, and I thank you so much. And I need people that I trust in my palace. So how about you would bring your wife and start living with me in my palace, because from now on, you are the head of my consultants. He accepted. He couldn't say no. Now he got that position because of what? Because he listened to his wife. Okay. Now he went to his house, he talked to his wife about it, they gathered up their stuff and came back. Now actually, the position of head of consultants went to his wife. And here how it went. Whenever the king had an inquiry, he would call for Bartal. He would come, he would talk to him, he would listen to him. And then Bartal would say, Can I get a minute to think? He would go all the way back to his palace, talk to his wife in his room, and then he would take what his wife said to the prime minister. Now men, listen to your wives. And everybody lived happily ever after. Thank you so much for listening to my story. And we're gonna try doing our best. And thank you so much. Enjoy.
People, wherever you are, thank you for listening to that last storyteller. What an amazing performance. And if you enjoyed it, the hat, look just below the story. If you're on the website, and I do encourage you to go to the website, and you can put a little in the hat. If you're in Texas, I've got a Texas hat. Yeah, I've got this in Kerrville. You could drop $1 in, or $2. If you're in England, you can drop £1 in, or more. If you're in Canada, well, you could drop a few dollars in. And maybe if you're right up north, in Lapland, you could drop a few kroner in, or maybe €1 or 2. It will be much appreciated. Thank you. Don't forget the hat and enjoy the stories.